Hello, I am Vicky Manitou Okas. Welcome. I am glad you're here today to give you some ideas of things that you can use to create your own tiny gardens, no matter how much space you have. Most of the gardens that I'm going to be creating this in these pair of workshops are going to go sit outside, but some of them could come inside depending upon what it is. So let's get started and, come and join us for the next workshop on April 25th. And we'll start putting some little gardens together that will have a chance of being very productive depending upon how much care and the weather that we have outside this year. We've got Wildcat with us today, but I was going to show some of the things that I'm doing. Hey, this is my citrus, and it's ready to go outside for the summer. And we have a cedar tree right next to the house that dropped seeds in everything. So these little tiny plants are cedar tree plants, and I will probably pull some of those out and plant those up into their own pot and give them a couple of weeks here before I do that, and see if I can grow a bonsai cedar. Okay, let's check the next one. That's going outside today. Okay, there's the plants that I potted up from the propagation tray, and they are doing beautifully. The other one that's going out today, this is my greens mix, and I'm ready to cut this top off of there. So I'm going to thin that out and use some of that for my next stir fry. See if I can get a better shot of that. There we go. That is a greens mix, but a baby greens mix. So I'm going to use some of those for baby greens. And then I'm going to pot some of those up into my tiny gardens in a couple of weeks. So some of those will be for my stir fry, and some of those will be for transplants. That's the lavender seedlings, and those are, I planted those by seed, and they are just getting started. So they'll probably stay in that for another month or two. We'll have to see. Okay, I've got parsley in there that's going well. That is the bunching onions, and they'll be ready to pot on up into a container. So they're doing okay. I'll probably replant some of those later and see what happens. Okay, here are a few other things that I am going to be working with on the 25th or near to it. This is a perennial onion. I am not quite sure what species it is because this is from what I foraged in the back alley. Somebody had dumped it back out there, but it is a perennial onion, and I collected the little bulblets last summer. Okay, I'd go ahead and plant these up, except that I've got plenty going right now. Okay, I suspect that this is a Canadian wild garlic, which produces the little bulblets on the top, but that is beautiful. I've got about 20 of them ready to pot up into their own containers in a week or so. One of the things I am not happy about is these are the tomato and basil plants that I put into those fiber pots that we purchased um, to make it easier to transplant. Now, they do break down, but unfortunately, we have got a lot of rain this last couple of weeks, and these pots are coming apart way, way too early. So I don't think that I will be using the peat pots or the paper pots like this again because of they just don't hold together quite long enough to get the transplants off to a good start in adverse conditions. So I've got some really nice plants in here. So I'm going to baby this along and watch the weather a little bit closer. And anytime that it's going to rain, this has got to come inside because the pots are just coming apart. If I'm going to have the pots come apart, I might as well use the toilet paper rolls. So I didn't have to buy those. The paper pots that I make out of newspaper actually hold together better than these peat pots or fiber pots that you buy at the store. So just a review on that. And hey, you know what? The container garden workshop on the 25th is going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you all join me. And we're going to use some of these plants. We're going to start with the cool weather plants. And there's my cilantro. It's just about ready to transplant. I'll thin that out and transplant that in a couple of weeks. And I've got some catnip that's just starting to go. And I don't know if you can see that, but the lemon balm is just starting to sprout as well. And that's cabbage plants. And that's also a brassica, but that's a kale and mustard mix. And all of those will go into the tiny gardens in a couple of weeks, and those are looking really good. And these will get planted into uh, cute little plantings that I'm going to put around the house on the outside for the summer, so that I have got beautiful herbs and vegetables for my health and for my food resiliency. And I hope that you enjoyed getting these ideas for you to create food resiliency and health for fresh vegetables and herbs in your life. It really doesn't take much to create what you need for yourself. Not a lot of money, okay, not a lot of time. So come and join us at Delectable Tiny Gardens. The next workshop is April 25th, where we're going to be putting together some creative little gardens using some of these containers, and we'll see how it all comes together as a starting garden for the summer. So, you know what? Subscribe, tell me what you would like to see in your tiny gardens. What are some of the creative pots that you can come up with that don't cost a lot of money so that you can have fresh food in your life? So come and join us at Delectable Tiny Gardens because we're doing the next step on April 25th.